has given us the privilege to assemble at this noon hour on this Ash Wednesday, so that we can start together on this Lenten journey toward resurrection by way of the cross. Amen. Thank you, Pastor Jenkins, for being the great host that you are and the great friend that you are, allowing us to come to these hallowed grounds again. To all of the reverend clergy that are here, to Pastor Hughes and Pastor Coney and Pastor Watkins, we're glad to be brought together again in fellowship. I'm glad to have my wife with me, Dr. Barbara. Amen. Yeah, a whole lot of great saints from a great house over on the corner of 95th and Ashland. That they are in the room today. What a delightful joy it is to see the members of the Third Baptist Church of Chicago in this place. Amen. But let's not take up all of my time in preliminaries. And I will have to confess that Pastor Jenkins has me on the clock. So let me get to the task at hand and open the gates so that the rest of these thoroughbreds can come through for the rest of the Lenten season. Amen. I want to thank you, Reverend Hughes, for walking us into this reason through the scripture, the 51st number of Psalm, where you have no delight in sacrifice. If I were to give burnt offering, you would not be pleased. The sacrifice acceptable to God is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. Oh God, you will not despise. Now let me brace that up with another passage found in the 58th chapter of the book of the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah's words, beginning with verse 13, you just listen because I got another one behind that. Isaiah says in 58 and 13 to Israel, if you refrain from trampling the Sabbath, from pursuing your own interest on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and a holy day of the Lord honorable, if you honor it, not going your own ways, serving your own interests, or pursuing your own affairs, then you shall take delight in the Lord, and I will make you ride upon the heights of the earth. I will feed you with the heritage of your ancestor Jacob, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken this. And then my final footnote is found as Jesus is teaching on the mountain. The Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 6 and verses 16 through 18. Here's some advice from Jesus. And whenever you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so as to show others that they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Let the church say amen. Amen. So I want to preach from this subject. Fasting for what? as outlined that you have on print, the fact that one of the high disciplines associated with the season of Lent is fasting. Somebody say amen. Amen. Whether you do it or not, say amen. Amen. Fasting and Lent go together, usually understood as 40 days of self-denial. Yeah, right? Yeah. 40 days of self-denial. And we have varied customs that we practice, or varied experiences with the fasting discipline, and if we're honest about it, varied degrees of success. Y'all say amen. Yeah. Right. Don't say that looking at me like you know how to fast, like you are expert faster, that you always succeed when you go after your fasting principles in the season of Lent. Sometimes we say, well, I'm going to give up, thus and such. And we do for the first day, or the first week. And then you start asking me, how many days? Do we count something? Varied degrees of success. But here's the question. What is a successful fast? What is a successful fast? What is a successful fast? Are you successful at fasting just because you cannot eat sweets for 40 days? Hold back on red meat for 40 days? Just because you can muster up enough personal strength to stay away from something that you probably don't need to be doing no way. Come on, Doc. You need a trophy for that? Is that real? A successful fast? Preach. According to the sound of the scriptures, we may have this fasting business twisted. Preach. We may be missing the mark according to what Jesus and the scriptures say about what it means to fast. Hallelujah, somebody. So let me just share with you one resource that I'm using. I brought the book along with me. I don't know if I've shared this with you before or not, but it's a book by Alicia Britt Jolie. And it's called 40 Days of Decrease. 40 days of what? Decrease. You know what decrease means, right? Decrease means 40 days of less, of shrinking, of pulling back. 40 days of pulling back. And when I read through this, and it's a good suggested book, you might want to take a look at it. It's a good meditational guide to carry you through the 40 days of Lent. But however, I warn you, she is serious about what she's saying. She's not talking about 40 days of just holding on, but 40 days of letting go. 40 days of letting go. And in it, she provokes some new thoughts that I'll share with you that might help you get your arms around this fasting business associated with spirituality. First of all, she helped me by saying that fasting is not a self-denial project to impress God. There you go. It's not a self-denial project to impress God, or to impress yourself, or to impress other people. Fasting is not designed for you to get to the point where you say, look at what I eat. Come on, Doc. Or look at what I can do. Or as Israel tried to say in the 58th chapter of Isaiah, why is it that when we fast, you don't pay any attention to us? Preach. Because they thought of fasting as some kind of religious leverage with God. that God would somehow be impressed just because you decided not to do something.
Right.
Fasting is not a self-denial project to impress God or anybody else, including yourself. She says, and this really gets me, she said, holy fasting is when we choose to thin our lives in order to thicken our communion with God.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I need to say it about 4 more times.
Yes, sir.
It's when we choose, watch this, to thin our lives in order to thicken our communion with God. Y'all ain't saying amen. It's when we choose
Yes, sir.
to thin, you know what thinning means? To thin our own lives in order to thicken our communion and relationship with God.
That's good.
Hallelujah, somebody. And therefore, it is intentional. Fasting makes you intentional about divine attention. Because whatever you're doing less of, the goal is that you will have more of God.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Now that strikes at the core of our hearts, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because you have to answer the question, do I really want? Oh yeah, I'm preaching. It forces you to deal with the question, do I really want more of God?
Preach.
And I'll leave that between you and God. And then she also says, deserts of decrease are necessary. Wilderness experiences have to happen. And they are necessary in order to train us to avoid the distractions of our lives and to increase our focus on God. In other words, we don't naturally focus on God.
Right. That's right.
Y'all listen to this. We don't naturally focus on God. We're not naturally. We don't, you don't. I know you want to tell other folk you do, but you don't naturally focus on God. You naturally focus on your life and the things of your life, and particularly on the things that are good about your life. And if we would be honest with each other for just a little while and tell the truth about it, when we focus on God, it's when we find ourselves on the underside of life. We get interested on God when life ain't working. We get religious. Somebody said, we get religious when things ain't working right. And when we can't put it together. And then we say, Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No other. Because I've tried every other help I could. And so God knows we need desert experience. Where God uncomfortably strips away every support that we trusted until there's nothing else and nobody else to trust except God.
Yes. Preach.
You don't have to say amen.
Yes, sir.
I'm on the ground of truth now.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah. 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 So, beloved, it's necessary. And let me just say that parenthetically. Some of you were here probably a couple of years ago when Dr. Zena Jacques preached in this service. And she taught us about the difference between the wilderness and the garden. Anybody remember that? And she said, gardens always get us in trouble. And wildernesses are always there to carry us through and get us back in shape, in right alignment with God. So it is necessary, listen, it is necessary for us to submit to denials. And I'm choosing my words carefully. It is necessary, beloved, for us to submit to the denials that happen in life.
Preach.
Because fasting is less about what we give up and more about what we gain. Fasting is less about what we give up and more about what we're gaining.
Preach.
It is an obedience to allow our wildernesses to unclutter our lives and unclutter our spirits so that there is real room for an enlarging and a deepening communion with God. And the diagnosis is that we have so filled up and cluttered our lives until there is scarcely room for God in the clutter of our lives. Ouch. I'm right. And we can only squeeze God in for 2 or 3 minutes in the morning on the way to our agenda. And maybe for a couple of hours on Sunday. We can squeeze God in if something more important is not on the agenda that day. Talk to me, somebody. Deep Bible study. Ain't got time to go to prayer meeting. Ain't got time to pull aside, lay everything else aside so that we can have some dedicated time with Lord. If we had to declare publicly in the presence of somebody how much time, how little time we spend really with God, it would be an embarrassment to call ourselves a church. And then pull on him when we need him in a crunch.
Yes, sir.
And then we have the audacity to be mad with God. For not answering. We observe your day. That's what Israel said. We fast and you don't listen to us. The ones he called
Yeah.
and said, follow me. As we launch into Lent as Jesus' disciples, identifying with how he obediently submits to suffering and death for our salvation. As we walk with him like the 12 walked with him over these last days and weeks of his life, and experience what get some flavor by proximity of what he had to go through.
Yeah, right.
Then we can appreciate who he is as our star example of what holy fasting really means.
Yes.
Here's what this author has said. She reminds us that Jesus did not fast for 40 days. That Jesus fasted for 33 years. When he had to step back from his preeminent glory. When he was with God in the Godhead. And in becoming incarnate, had to lay all of his divine privileges aside in order to live among us. And had to do it for a whole lifetime until he died on the cross at 33. He fasted all his life.
Yes, sir.
Had power that he chose not to use.
Yeah.
Had knowledge that he had to submit to. Had preeminent glory with God. But Philippians 2 said, made himself of no reputation. And took upon himself the form of a servant. And being found and fashioned as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death. That's a fact. Even the death of the cross. But then it says, but then God. And this is what you fast for. God highly exalted him. And gave him a name that is above every name. And on the other side of the fast, at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow in heaven, on earth, and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus is Lord to the glory of God. Somebody shout hallelujah. Don't be tripping about what he went through, but you get excited about what he went to. Served God, denied himself, took up his cross, and honored the will of his Father. Am I right, somebody? So let me ask you a question as my time expires. I want to use the language of a contemporary commercial. What are you hungry for?
Yes, sir.
That's a serious question.
Yes, sir.
What are you hungry for? What are you hungry for? Do you hunger for a thicker communion with God? Is there room in your life for more of God? And since you only have so much life, if there's going to be room for more God, then there's going to have to be less of something else. Preach, preach. And God, beloved, is there room for a thicker communion with This God, my friend, this God, my brother, this God will summon you, will call you, will summon you to desert fasts. And your hunger for God will generate sacrificial obedience. Here's something you may not have thought about. It is really not you, but God who chooses the fast. You don't get to decide what you're going to give up on the condition for greater communion with God.
Preach, preach, preach.
It is God who decides what you need in order to walk into a thicker communion with Him. Says in Isaiah 58, is not this the fast I choose? While you fumbling around with what you think is going to impress me, I choose the fast. God says, and this God will call you into wilderness places. Will call you into deserts of night. Will do that so that you can have the opportunity genuinely to build a thicker communion with Himself. That's why He drove Jesus into the wilderness right after His baptism. And the Spirit drove Him. He didn't volunteer. He didn't choose it. But the Spirit drove Him. Because if He was going to be successful at His ultimate purpose, He would have to be strong in the absence of natural comforts. And so, in your overcrowded and busy life, Fat Tuesday, barely got time to run by on Wednesday, got something coming up at 1:30. In your overcrowded, and all of us are guilty. All of us are guilty. In our overcrowded and busy lives, here's the question. What will you give up? What will you release for more of God? As you watch Jesus move toward Calvary, and all of the things that He had to give up in order to honor God's purpose for His life. What about you? What are you willing to? Where are you willing to thin out your life for a thicker communion with God? What about? Are you willing to give up some comfort and be made uncomfortable? Are you willing to give up some of your health so that in your sickness you might be closer to God? Are you willing to give up some of your security so that in your insecurity you learn to trust in the Lord?
Preach, preach, preach.
Are you willing to lose some of your prosperity so that even if the stock market falls
Preach, preach.
and your pension annuity gets smaller, that you are willing to lean on the Lord, your power.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up some of your strength?
Yeah.
You strong people. Are you willing to give up some of your strength so that in your weakness, his strength can be made perfect?
Yes. Preach, preach.
Are you willing to thin out are you willing to die a little? Or a lot? So that in your death, his resurrection can be glorified. Fasting for what? You're right, it's not what you're fasting from. It's what you're fasting for. If you honor the fast that God chooses, you will be fasting for nothing less than more God. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor,